Hey guys, we're here for a special episode of The Running Journey. We are live in New York, the state of New York, Lake Placid, home of the 1932 Olympics
and 1980.
And the 1980 Olympics, home of the Miracle on Ice, where the U.S. beat Russia in the semis, not the finals. And then they end up winning. Also here for an Ironman. I'm doing an Ironman in 2 days. We're recording this on Friday night in our hotel room at the Bluebird. I have my dad with me who's accompanying me for the race. The Ironman is in 2 days. We're doing a special episode. A couple things we want to go over today. I'm pretty excited, but first, introduce you to my dad. We've talked about my dad. Charlie and I have talked about my dad a little bit. He's done, 4 ultra marathons, I think, when you were younger. 3 ultra marathons?
3.
3 ultra marathons when he was younger. This year, he did a half marathon with me during Run with Rob. We did that in Brandon, Manitoba. That was on May, 22nd. May 22nd or so this year. Did a series, got a mind of our own. We did that half marathon in Brandon. That was a tough one. Claude persevered through hills, heat, and cancer and chemo treatment and a whole bunch of other things. Anyways, finished in I think 2.5 hours or something like that. That was a really, really cool day. Claude, why do you come to these things?
Well, I think they're amazing, and the reason I come is obviously because you're running, and my other son Charles has run one too, and I just find it amazing what you do. So I couldn't miss this. It's a great day just to watch on the sidelines, to go see you at 5 a.m. get ready for your swim. It's usually colder, even in July. It's going to be cold. And then, of course, the bike ride, and then, the amazing finish of the run, coming to that finish line. It's just one of the greatest things to see.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to be part of.
Yeah.
You were at one other Ironman, but you're also at another marathon. You were at our marathon in LA. Claude came with us when Charlie and I both qualified for the for the Boston Marathon. That was last year in November. And you went in April when we did the Texas.
The Houston one.
Houston, and that was Claude's first Ironman, and this is now his second Ironman. What do you think, first impressions of Lake Placid? We just got here. We literally got here a few hours ago, dropped off the bike, checked in, and now we're into our hotel.
The area is amazing. I mean, I've been here before, not exactly here, but in the Adirondack, I pronounce it in French, mountains. We're not that far from the Canadian border, and it goes down. It's just gorgeous. There's lakes, beautiful lakes, and the mountains are not as high as the Rockies, obviously, but just beautiful scenery. It's just a gorgeous place to come and have an Ironman. Now, talking about that, I see a lot of hills coming in, up and down, and then we drove through the course. And why would you pick? It seems like it's going to be a very hard Ironman.
Yeah, I must admit, when I signed up, I didn't fully understand and appreciate how tough the hills would be for the bike and for the run. And never mind, the swim is hilly too.
The swim is hilly?
It's uphill.
Hey?
Oh, it's a joke.
Oh, it's a joke, okay.
The swim is flat. At least I got that going.
Uphill water, okay.
It's a flat swim.
Yeah.
But so what happened is when I missed qualifying in Texas because I wasn't there, I got burnt. I got aggravated inside. I got hurt. I couldn't stop thinking about this world championship, this world qualifier that I missed out on just because we left early. To recap, we had a flight to catch. We went to the breakfast meeting where they were handing out the spots for the world championship. I'd finished 46th in my age category, which I did not think was good enough. They had 16 spots, if I recall, or 18 spots, or 14 spots for my age category. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to get a spot. Lo and behold, a lot of people already qualified, a lot of people passed, and it rolled down all the way to 46th spot. I would have got the last spot at the Worlds had I stayed there. I didn't stay there. I didn't get my spot in the Worlds. Since that day, I've been thinking, how can I go back there? So I looked at the calendar the moment I got home, and I said, what's a realistic race that I could do? I still had to do Run with Rob, which was run across Manitoba, 24 half marathons in 12 days, which I did in the month of May. And I thought, okay, the earliest I could probably do an Ironman would be July. So I looked at the calendar. This was the only race on the calendar. it's a race that fit. It's a race that I could get to relatively easily, and I desperately want to qualify for Worlds, and I'm convinced that this is my best shot ever to do it. The Worlds are in 6 weeks. They're in Nice, France, and I think less people want to go because it's not in Kona.
Especially on short notice like this?
Short notice.
Okay.
And remember, you have to take your spot and pay with your credit card on the spot.
Okay.
You have to decide you want your spot on the spot.
Yeah.
So I think there'll be a roll down.
Okay. So Rob, why, I mean, I know you practice in the mountains in Winnipeg all the time, like to make it up for here. Like, no, there's no mountains where we are.
It's a joke.
So how have you been training, or how are you going to cope with running and bicycling in it's not only little hills, these are real mountains here, like a couple thousand feet and all that. So how are you handling that for your training or
Okay,
whatever?
so yeah, the training, I mean, there are no hills in Manitoba. There's very little elevation anywhere in Manitoba that you can train. The best I can replicate is on my Zwift, which is my virtual trainer in my basement, where I can increase and set some elevation, and you know, you practice on that, you do some of that. I've done a lot of low cadence leg work, so you're pushing at 55, 60 cadence over, you know, an hour or 2 or 3, and you're trying to just build up the leg strength for those hills. But I don't think, you know, I had my talk with my coach earlier tonight, and Patrick said, like, there's nothing that's going to prepare you for this. So yes, we did a lot of hill work, virtual hill work. Yes, you did a ton of bike work. I feel I'm in a lot better shape than I was 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I ran across Manitoba. I've put on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilometers on the bike and on the pavement. But I don't think there's anything that can prepare me for what's going to happen on Sunday. But I know that it's going to be tough. So I'm ready mentally for how tough it's going to be. But yeah, I don't think I could possibly be ready.
Okay. So I overheard you at some point. We're talking about the swim part of the Ironman. That it looked good. You know, the lake really looks nice and smooth. But then you mentioned something about a really bad shoulder. Like,
yes.
How are you coping with that?
Yeah, the shoulder, ever since I did Ironman Texas, it kind of subluxated or wanted to pop out kind of in Texas on about 3/4 of the way through. And I had such a hard time finishing that race in Texas. It's like just in the back here, the tendons around the shoulder blade, around the rotator cuff are all extremely tight. The 2 or 3 times I've tried to go out swimming, I've not been able to do it. So I'm hoping it'll hold out. I think my best case scenario is I'm able to swim, finish the race a little bit slower than what I've done in the past, maybe lose 5 minutes, just a little bit of pain. Worst case scenario is I can't swim the entire thing, which means I'll have to do, you know, breast strokes and like one-arm swimming. But like, unless my arm falls off, like I'll finish it. I think it'll be pain. And I asked my physio, Kante, I said, is this gonna cause long-term damage? And he said, no, it's not gonna cause long-term damage. It's gonna be extreme pain, and you know, once you're out of the water, you're kind of done with that. So I'm not excited about the swim for that reason, but you know, it's an hour and a half. Like, just go do it and get on the bike.
So I've heard you say that, you know, it's not the end of the world, because let's say that at worst case I'll be an extra 10 minutes, right, on the swim. And if I lose that 10 minutes on the swim, you're just going to give her on the last run?
You can't quite make it up, but you don't lose all of it. You don't lose all of it because you're not working as hard, so your body's saved. But so let's say I lose 10 minutes. By the way, I don't think 10 minutes is a worst case. I think 10 minutes is a best case. Losing 10 minutes versus my Texas time.
Oh, okay.
Because I think I did 1:16 or something in Texas.
Yeah.
And remember, it's 3.8 kilometers to swim. So I think best case is like a 1:25. Okay. And I'd say worst case is probably like a 1:45, where I really have to, like, one arm swimming and you know, you're doing this. So, you know, if I lose 25 or 30 minutes, I can't make that up. If I lose 10 minutes, I probably can't make it up, but I can make up 5 or 6 of those minutes just because I'll be more fresh. So, you know, I don't see it as being that bad, but I don't have a choice. I got to get through the swim. Like, I can't avoid it. So, like, play the hand you're dealt, focus on what you can control, and deal with it.
Okay. So we're here, we're prepared. I'm going to ask you how you're going to prepare the next 24 hours, but let's talk about food for a while. We went for dinner tonight, and I had my usual salad. And what did you eat?
I had a turkey bacon panini with corn chips. Then I had a gluten-free burger with fries. And then she came back and was like, "Oh, is anyone hungry for dessert?" She was joking. I said, can I see the menu again?" And I ordered another panini and fries. The panini was so good. So I had 3 meals is the answer.
Yeah.
I was hungry because we flew out this morning from Winnipeg.
Yeah.
I ate at 5 a.m. in the lounge, and we didn't really eat since. I ate on the plane a little bit, but like get out. I really needed to be here today for 5 p.m. because registration closed at 5, and we landed at 12:30. And we had to get in Montreal. It's a 2.5-hour drive. We had to get our car. So I was a little, I don't want to say worried, but it was tight. So we didn't stop for a 1-hour sit-down breakfast at Denny's or a lunch. We motored here, dropped the bike off, registered, and then we're like, okay, let's go check into the hotel and let's go eat. So you hadn't eaten all day either, yeah. So I ate a lot today. And I remember Patrick and Charlie always telling me, you got to be full. You got to be full the 3 days before your Ironman. You got to be full after. Like you got to be very full. You don't want to like gorge yourself, but you got to be full. Yeah. So I ate till I was full.
Yeah. Can you explain to me a little bit more about? Okay, you're gonna swim first.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us the recap of
the distances.
What are the distances?
Okay, those of you who don't remember an Ironman: 3.8 kilometers swim, 180 kilometers bike, followed by a marathon, which is 42.2 kilometers of jog. The transition, they're called T1 and T2. Transition 1 is between swim and bike. In this case, for me, Sunday, I'm going to wear my one-piece triathlon suit. So that means I will not need to change. I'm trying to save time in the transitions by not having to go in and out of my bike shorts and my.
So how much can you save there?
I think I could probably save 3 minutes on each transition.
Okay.
So maybe 2 minutes on each transition, so 4 to 6 minutes, something like that.
And that's over how much the total, how long will it take you, or we'll get to that later?
Yeah, I don't know, we can get to that. My stretch goal is to beat 12 hours. And the reason that that's my goal is because I did some studying this week and I looked at the percentiles and the average rank for the top quartile, the middle, the second quartile, third quartile, and this race is about 70 to 75 minutes slower than Ironman Texas.
And now is that because of the hills and the mountains?
I don't know, but I know that it's about 40 minutes slower on the bike and about 35 minutes slower on the jog. So I'm guessing the hills are killing people and then their legs are shot and then they don't have enough energy to do the run. And the run is also quite hilly. The run is twice as hilly. No, sorry. The run is about the same level of hills as the half marathon I did in Falcon Lake, that last stretch, which to me felt like it was straight uphill. The only hills in Manitoba, right at the border of Ontario. I did that half marathon on my last day, and that felt very hilly to me. That's what I got coming. So I guess if I go back to transitions, I'm gonna wear my transition suit. I'm gonna wear a wetsuit on top. So a wetsuit, I peel that off. I jump on the bike, shoes, transition, triathlon suit, and then you bike, and then when you're getting off the bike, if I'm feeling good, if I'm still comfortable, I'm just gonna keep the tri-suit. It's got light padding in the bum, in the rear, so that you're softer on the bike, but you don't want padding when you're running. So if I'm not feeling great, I will get out of the tri-suit, I'll wear my running shorts that I'm comfortable with, the compression shirt, and I'll finish the marathon in a compression shirt short. So my goals, you asked me, I did 11 hours and 7 minutes, I think, in Houston, 11.7, 11.9, something like that. So,
do you want to talk about Iowa, your first one?
I did 14:48 there.
Okay.
14:48.
So you improved by 3 hours from one to the next within a few months?
Almost 4 hours, yeah.
In 4 months? 3 months?
No, that was almost a year.
Oh,
10
a year,
months,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, like the viewers are very aware of the gains that I've had there. So, I'm a different human than I was when I went down to Des Moines a year ago.
Yeah, it was in August, I think.
No,
right?
it was in June.
June.
July. Wow.
Yeah.
13 months ago I went to Des Moines and yeah, I did a 14:47. But I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. It was a million degrees. That's not even the same race. And people were falling all over the place. Like, that wasn't a race to compare it to. But I really think that if I were to do Houston again on Sunday, I really think I could do like a 10:40.
Wow.
Or a 10:50. I feel that much better than I felt 3 months ago. I ran across Manitoba. I've done 4 training sessions over 5 hours. Like, I'd done one of those in my whole life, right?
Before that.
And when I did them at race pace, and I felt really good. I got on, I did my brick runs after, and I felt really good. So all this to say, if I was doing Houston, I would probably aim for 10:45. If you add 75 minutes.
And why are you adding 75 again?
Because that's what the comparison is.
Okay.
So I took the average, the top 10%, the next 10%. I looked at the entire percentiles of everyone who completed Ironman Texas and Ironman Lake Placid last year. So the data is not completely accurate, and I compared them, and it's about 75 minutes lower. So that same effort would have been 75 minutes lower here. So if I do a 10:45, that puts me at 12 hours here. So 12 hours would be my stretch goal. But I mean, if I do a 1:45 out of the water, I know that's impossible, right? I've lost too much time. So 12 hours is if everything goes well, and that would probably give me a shot at qualifying for the Worlds, I think, if I did 12 hours.
So what would you do, right now it's about 9 o'clock here on Friday night, and you start running at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning, which leaves us roughly 32 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do the next 35 hours to prepare for your race?
Okay, so tonight I'm just going to sleep, try to sleep as best I can, catch up on sleep as much as I can. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to go, there's a pancake breakfast here for all the racers. I'm going to go participate in that, meet some people. Then there's the race run through with my team from Nirvana. So I'm going to go check that out, run through. I got to drop off my bike. Then I'm done for the day. So I'm going to, probably going to come back here, go through my entire routine, get dressed, prepare the bags. I wanted to do that tonight, but I might do that tomorrow. Prep all the bags, and then basically eat well, fruit, veggies all day, have another kind of triple meal tomorrow night, and then go to bed. I'll be in bed here at 8:30.
Yeah, I'll make sure. I'll keep an eye on you. Make sure.
Yeah, you go to the bar.
Yeah.
I'll do the sleeping,
Okay.
and then I'll hopefully sleep, and then I'm up at probably like 3:30 or something like that, and then it's like 5 pouches of oatmeal.
Yeah.
And then I prep my scratch, bring all my stuff, and just get ready for the race.
Okay. So, anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think it's exciting for me. It's very, very exciting. It's like I like it's. Why do like I talked to my buddy Chad the other day, and I was like, "What do you got next? What do you got next?" And he goes, "I'm thinking of doing Ironman Lake Placid next year." And I looked at him. I said, "That's 12 months away. Like, what are you gonna be excited about tomorrow?" Like, I love this because I get excited for races. I get really excited for races. So 3 weeks before, 4 weeks before, I can't sleep. It's all I can think about. The competitive juices are flowing. The weekend of is the coolest thing. Like, you've seen me at these races. I live for this. It's so fun. It's so exhilarating. It's a big production. It's something really, really special to be part of. And then afterwards, you get to evaluate yourself, how you did as a human being. You know, did you focus on what you can control? Did you leave everything out there? Did you not? Did you have the right discipline? You look back on your race, you know, did I have the right training discipline? Did I miss anything? Is there anything I could have done? And it just helps you become a better person. So I love all of that part of it. I love this. I'm excited about it. It's pretty cool to be able to do these things, and to be here with you too is awesome. Do you have any interest in ever doing something like this?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. I know it's very, very difficult because I've watched you and Charlie do it, and I know you got to make a commitment, and I now have time because I'm semi-retired. But do I want to make the commitment that you're making, and can I do it? But I definitely have an interest. But having an interest and say, yeah, I'll do it, are different than committing a lifestyle to do it. But just before we go, I just want to bring up the Run with Rob. I spent, maybe you've already talked about that 100 times, but I was with Rob every single mile, every single kilometer from Saskatchewan border to Ontario border.
You and Mom?
And it was one of the most amazing 13 days of my life to see that Rob run 2 half marathons a day for 12 days, and 140 some or 50 people that joined us, 163, 10 one day, 8 the other, 12, and everybody running, and out people, and the whole thing of raising funds for charity. But without even getting into that, just the run aspect and seeing all the athletes and how they felt, and anyways, it was one of the most amazing, well, to this day, I call it the 12 days in May that changed my life. So the reason I'm bringing it up was not to mention that, but I did, is that some critics have said, well, look, Rob, you've just run 12 marathons in 12 days. It's less than 2 months ago, I think, or almost 2 months to the day.
Yeah, 2 months.
And the experts say, well, you should rest more. What do you say about that?
So I don't know. I mean, I just know how I feel. I feel good. So I feel like I couldn't wait to get running again after I did Run with Rob. So I took 3 days off, and I felt like I needed to get out and run again. And I understand the body needs to recover, but I think there's also a benefit for you to keep pushing yourself and to do what you want to do and to be happy doing what you want to do. So am I maybe shaving years off the back end of my life because I'm going too hard? Maybe. Am I gonna be am I gonna need new knees and new hips because I'm running too much? Maybe. But is this bringing me a ton of joy right now and I'm loving it? It is. And I feel good. So I feel good. I am convinced that I can handle this. Maybe I'm different than other people. Maybe my body is able to handle more running and more training than others. I do think I'm lucky when it comes to resiliency and injury and how easy I recover from things. And so maybe I'm just a little bit more lucky than others, and maybe I can handle more volume than others. So I feel good. As long as I feel good, I'm gonna go. I am listening to my body though. So if my body says, stop, I would stop, but I feel so good. And I know that I can do, so if I qualify for Worlds, it's in 6 weeks. I know that I can do another Ironman in 6 weeks. Well, I won't have a choice, right? If I qualify for Worlds, and that is my goal. And I'm putting it out here on the channel. We're recording this before the event. I didn't do this. I didn't sign up for this race because I wanted to see Lake Placid today, this week. I could have come next year. I have a busy calendar. My wife's in Toronto this weekend. It's a busy time. Mom is watching the kids. It was a very busy time, but it was my last opportunity to qualify for Worlds. I come here with a very specific goal, and it's to qualify for Worlds. And if I don't do it, it's gonna suck. But that's why I'm here. So that's why I trained. That's why I pushed so hard. And you talked about paying the price. I think we talked about this on the way in. And people always ask me, oh, I could never do an Ironman. A lot of people say that to me. And this is gonna sound perhaps crass, and Charlie and I talk about this all the time, but I believe that pretty much anyone can complete an Ironman. The question is, do they want to pay the price? And it's okay if they don't want to pay the price. There's nothing wrong with that. It's an incredibly expensive price to pay. You and I could go to the Super Bowl. It's a ridiculous price to pay. Do we want to pay $10,000 to go to one game? No, it doesn't make sense. We're not going to pay that price. That's ridiculous. We're not going to do that. We'd have to pull money from savings or whatever. We're not going to do that. We're not going to pay that price. Well, this race, the price is not dollars. The price is hours. Hours and commitment to a task. And that task is swimming, biking, running, fitness, eating healthy, diet, training, mobility, strength. So, do you want to pay that price? I'm not saying you. I'm saying pretty much anyone could do it, and they just have to decide to pay the price. And if they want to pay the price, they can get into the club. There's a club over there. It's got a door. It's got a sign on it. It says Triathlon Finishers, and it's this club right here. They get to wear these shirts, and this doesn't represent anything other than I had the discipline for 6 months to do nothing, not miss a workout, do what I had to do. And I chose to do it, and I'm now a member of that club. Just like anyone else could choose to be a member of that club. It's fine that they don't want to be, but I disagree when they say I couldn't do a triathlon. Short of being, missing legs or arms or not being able to swim or whatever, most people, I'm convinced, could actually complete a triathlon. Do they want to pay the price? And I chose to pay the price, and I'm very, very happy that I did.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I go back 50 years when I did my first one, and it's one of the greatest experiences in life, and it teaches you so many things. But anyways, that's a topic for another day.
But I mean, you're talking about an ultra marathon now, which 50 miles. Which I think I've said this on the channel, that is the hardest thing I've ever done. I did one 50-mile race in my life. It was way, way, way harder than these Ironman. Maybe I'm not pushing myself hard enough in the Ironman, I don't know. But like that 50-miler took me 9 hours and 12 minutes or whatever it took me. 9 hours and 8 minutes, which was the exact same time as Uncle Gil's best time ever, and I think I beat you by 3 minutes or something.
No, you beat me by 10 or 12 minutes.
10 or 12 minutes.
Yeah.
But he was 12 years old or 13 years old when he did his first. So it's pretty impressive what you did as a kid and I mean the training you were doing back then.
Yeah, nothing like you. But it shows you, I'm not going to get into this, but after you've done one of those, you see things that you've never seen before in your life, as far as how tough life is, and going through adversity and all that stuff. But anyways, I just wanted to finish here by me on my part by saying that as a parent and as somebody who really admires all these athletes who do these triathlons and super marathons, is I spend the whole day there, and not only encourage Rob, I encourage everybody. I see people suffering, and they're limping, but nobody's quitting, and they're doing it. It's so inspiring to watch these people. So as a non-participant, I look forward Sunday to being there for 12 hours, 13 hours, encouraging my son, encouraging everybody else, because everybody else is somebody else's son or daughter. And it's so inspiring. It's just so inspiring to watch them. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's the coolest. It's such a cool atmosphere. Such a cool ambience.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell. Thank you for tuning in. Go to wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure you subscribe there too. And we will see you in the next video. And hopefully, guys, I kill this, beat 12 hours, and qualify for Worlds. Thank you for tuning in.